Hello class, this is a video tutorial continuing on the area of triangles using sine. In this video, we'll be looking at reversing the formula. So when given the area of the triangle, a missing side can be calculated using equation solving techniques. Let's take a look at these four problems, and you'll see that it's rather straightforward if you are super confident in your equation solving. So let's take a look at our first problem. So for this, we just need to recall our formula. Area equals half AB sine C. In this type of problem, we just substitute whatever we can in all the appropriate pronumerals. So we know what the area is, 19.73. So A will become 19.73. Half remains as it is, so half times AB, A and B, and notice how one of the variables is x, so 12 times x, times sine 120. Sorry, 110. Now, I'm going to show you how to do this carefully one at a time from this point, and then in the next example, I'll show you a quicker way of doing this. So at this point, you would then times by 2. Notice how this is dividing by 2. So to reverse this, we times by 2 on both sides. So times 2. So 19.73 times 2. On the left-hand side, we get 39.46 equals 12 times x times sine 110. If you've seen that first step, it's just a matter of reversing each of the other variables or other numbers. So since this is times 12, the next step is we would divide 12. Divide 12. So the right-hand side, the 12 disappears. We're left with x times sine 110. X times sine 110. And on the right-hand side, 39.46 divide 12. We get that number. Let's try and use as many decimal places as we can. 3.28833. And for the last step, we would divide by sine 110. And from this one, we should be using answer divided by sine 110. And there we go. This leaves us with x on its own because that cancels out. So x is now on its own. And as we saw there, the answer to that was 3.4993. Which I made this question so that it rounds up to 3.5. So I wanted this x is equal to 3.5. So notice the breakdown. We're just dividing out or reversing like we would with equation solving. And we get to the missing variable. Now I'm going to show you a quicker way of doing this rather than doing all the different reverses. So let's do it again. I'm going to keep our formula here. So we know what the area is. The area is 33.41. So 33.41 equals half times AB, so y times 7.8, y times 7.8 times sine 80. Now, here's where it can be shortened. Everything on this side of the equation is all multiplication. So it's half times y times 7.8 times sine 80. So to simplify the problem, we would type into our calculator everything we can that is just a number. So that means we leave y out of the calculation. This is what I mean. Ready? We would do half, so half times 7.8 times sine 80. So notice how I'm multiplying I'm multiplying all the numbers together and leaving y on its own. So that would then get me the answer. Oh, I missed it there. 3.8407. So 3.8407. Well, may as well do the 5 dot 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 dot, and that is times y. And then it is at this step we're just going to divide out this number. So we're going to divide both sides by 3.84075. That's going to be 33.41 divided by 3.840, etc. So I'm going to go 3, oops, let's clear this. And remember the answer is from the previous one now. So 33.41 divided by the previous answer. So that gives us the result 9.547 equals y. And so rounding this to 2 decimal places or even 1 decimal place, we get y equals 9 point, let's go to 2 decimal places, 9.55. And that is a shorter way of doing this. Rather than doing multiple divisions, we do 1 multiplication and then 1 division. Let's do this final example here. So here we go. Once again, we're just substituting the appropriate values into the formula. Let's move this here. The area is 33.62. So 33.62 equals half times 2x times x. So 2x times x times sine 150. Once again, I'm just going to type all the values in that are just numbers. So in this case, I'm going to be typing in half times 2 times sine 150. So half times 2 times sine 150. Interestingly, that gives us 0.5. So that gives us 0.5. But now we need to be careful with this type of problem. We have x times x. So that gives us x squared equaling 33.62. And from here, it's just a matter of solving the equation. Since this is times half, we're going to divide by 0.5, divide 0.5, 33.62 divide 0.5, 33.62 divide 0.5. That gets us 67.24 equals x squared. And the last step here is we take the square root of that value. So typing that in, that will leave us with x on its own. And so square root of 67.24, that gets us x equaling 8.2. And that's how we solve these problems. Right, so I'll cut the video here for these first 3 examples. I'll see you in the next video where we tackle this final one here. Hope to see you then, and best of luck.